Hey there, and welcome back to another course on Next.js13. Okay, so today we are going to build this beautiful application with the help of Next.js, React, Tailwind CSS, Google Map, Google Place API, and Next Authentication as well, and so on. Okay, so if you are new on my channel, please do subscribe. And before going forward, let's walk through the application first, and then we will talk about the technology which you are going to use in this particular course. Okay, so if you see on this application, right, once user log in with the Google account, you will launch on this page, and we have this beautiful header section. Okay, and once user log in, you will see this user's profile pic, and on the click of that, you have logout option as well. Okay, also on the left hand side you will see the different type of food, because this is the restaurant finder application, and you can find a different types of restaurant near you. Okay, so if you see on hover, the color is getting changed, right? Initially the color is gray, okay, black and white color, but as soon as you hover on it, the color is changed, it's colorful. Okay, so click any of this restaurant, and once you click it, if you see this beautiful border along with this particular colored icon. Okay, also you have this option called radius, so you can select your how the area which you want to find the restaurant. Okay, along with this rating option. Okay, so on the right hand side, okay, if I select any restaurant, you will see this dot, nothing but these markers on the Google Map. Okay, and if you click on this dot, you will see the information about this particular restaurant. Okay, so if I this is my current location on the map, and I can search by clicking on this particular restaurant detail and everything. Okay, you will see how far it is from my location in miles, or you can use it with the help of kilometer as well. Okay, also, on the click of get direction, you can directly jump on the Google Map with this all direction ready. Okay, the route and everything. Also, if you see, you have beautiful scroller. I can scroll left, I can scroll right. Okay, and this is completely beginner friendly course. So if you have any question, you can ask me anytime in the comment section. Now, if you click on any of this restaurant right at the bottom side, still automatically it's updating on the map. See, okay. If I change this to Italian food, you will see Italian food. If I click on this any of this particular restaurant, it automatically show where it is and all the details on the Google Map itself. Okay, and guys, if you are new, you don't know about the Next.js, you don't know about the React or Tailwind CSS, don't worry, because this is beginner friendly course and I'm going to teach everything from the basic. Okay, so creating the Google Map API key or Place API key to integrate in our application. So before doing any further delay, let's begin. Application. And we are going to use Next.js13, which is the React framework for the web application, and we are going to use that one as well along with the app router. Okay, next, we are going to use NextAuth.js for the Google authentication. So we are gonna learn how to integrate Gmail authentication in our application. Then for styling, we are gonna use Tailwind CSS. And don't worry, I am going to teach everything, because Tailwind CSS is one of the highest and most popular UI library in the market right now. And the most important, we are going to use Place API. Okay, if you don't know about the Google Map or how to integrate it, how to use Place API, don't worry, we are going to learn everything. And it's completely free. Okay, if you go to the pricing, you will see you will get a $200 of credit every month, which is more than sufficient for any developer or small business. Okay, also if you go back to our application, you will learn how to style this particular Google Map according to your need. You can change Google Map rose color, anything. Right now in our application, I use a gray color Google Map. Okay, and I'm going to tell you how to style it in the Google Map styling studio. Okay, and if you are new on my channel, please guys do subscribe to my channel. And if you are really looking for exclusive video, one-to-one session, then please join the channel. Okay, and if you go to my channel here, you will see a lot of different types of project or different courses on Next.js, React, React Native, Tailwind CSS. Go ahead and watch all of them. So guys, before doing any further delay, let's begin. So in order to create React Next.js project, we are gonna use Next.js, which is one of the best React framework for the web application. Okay, so in order to create a project, if you see here, this is the command. Okay, just copy this command, go to your project where you want to create a project, open the command prompt by typing cmd, and once it open, just in paste this particular command, which is npx create next app at the latest. Okay, at the latest will give you the next 13 next version. Okay, otherwise you can install the old version as well, but just you have to remove at latest. Okay, but in this case I will put the at latest and click enter. Then it will ask the project name, so in this case we will give Google Map Place. Okay, and click enter. Now it will ask, do you want to use TypeScript? Yes or no. Right now we are not using TypeScript, so I will say no. Then do you want to use ESLint? Say no. So do you want to use Tailwind CSS? Say yes. So here it automatically install Tailwind CSS for you as well. You don't need to install separately. Say yes now. And do you want source directory? Say no. App router? Say yes. So it's saying, would you like to customize default import alias? Say no, and done. So now it will install all the dependency which is required, like React, React DOM, Next, Tailwind CSS, okay, and everything. So we'll wait for a few seconds, and if you see, our project is created. Now, in order to go to the project folder, just type cd Google Map Place and enter. Okay. Now you can open project directly from here. Just type code space dot and it will open your project in VS Code. Okay. So here is our project is open. Okay. Now let's talk about the project folder structure. So at the first you will see this app folder. Okay. So in this app folder we will put all our components file, the pages and everything. Okay. So by default, when you run the application, the page.js will be launched. Okay, and this is our starting point, which is the page.js. Okay, and if you see, we have some default code here. Okay, we will remove it in some time. Then we have layout.js, where you can define the layout. You can divide your screen into different parts, and then you can define it here like this. Okay, so in old Next.js we have underscore app.js, okay, and index.js as a page. But here we have the layout.js and page.js. We also learn how to navigate from one or how to route from one page to another page and everything. So don't worry, because this is completely beginner friendly course. After that, we'll also have global.css, which is applicable throughout the application. So whatever the css we want to apply, you can apply it here. Okay, then we have this public folder where you can put all your images or assets or everything in this public folder. Then we have js.config.js. Okay, then we have next.config.js, which helps you to configure some of these things, like if you are fetching the url from the fetching image from the url, then you have to put the domain name here. So I will explain you how to you configure the next.config.js when it's required. Then we have packet.json, which include all this dependency and the script to run this application. Then we have post.css, post css and tailwind.config.js, where it includes this tailwind css for the next.js. Okay, now let's run the application. So here, go to the terminal and click new terminal. It will open you the inbuilt terminal, okay, in VS Code only, and just type npm run start. Okay, or you can just type npm run dev and enter. So as soon as you enter it, will say the url is localhost 3000, so port number is 3000, right? Let's open this port number and wait for few seconds to build. But it's building first time, because you launch first time, right? This will take few seconds to build the application. So we'll wait, and if you see, the page is showing on the screen. Okay, as simple as that. Now let's go to this app folder, and inside this app folder you will see this page.js. Okay, inside the page.js, let's remove this all of this code. Okay, so just remove everything like this and just enter sample div. And here, if I save it, you will see nothing on the screen. Okay, now let's type some text. So I will type s2 and let's type subscribe to Guruji. Okay, if you did not subscribe to my channel, please do subscribe. And if you see subscribe to Guruji showing on the screen. Okay, you will see this kind of gradient effect is coming, right? This is because in global.css we have some if you see, right, background start and lg or a lot of things, right? So you can do one thing, you can just remove all of these things. Okay, because we don't want it. And if you see, as soon as I remove this body css, right, you'll get a plain screen with the some text. That's what we wanted. Okay, to start the application. Now let's implement the Google authentication for our application using the NextAuth.js. So NextAuth.js is one of the best authentication for the Next.js, okay, and which is very easy to use. So in order to integrate it, let's get go to this official website and just click on get started. Once you are on this particular page, here you will see the installation command, right? Just copy this one, go to your project, okay, and in the terminal, add new terminal and paste this particular command. It will install the next auth. Okay, and then if you scroll down, we have to add API route, right? And if you scroll down, this is how we want to add this particular code. But if you see here, right, if you are using the NextJs 13.0 or above, we have to follow a different guide, right? So click on this guide, and then once you're on this page, you will find this particular page. Okay, so here it's quite easy. First of all, we have to create this route. Okay, so inside the app folder, we have to create a new folder called API. So just create a new folder called API. Inside the API, we have to create another folder called auth. Okay, inside this folder, we have to create this next auth folder. Okay, so inside auth, we create another folder next auth, and then we have to create a file called root.js like this. Okay, and that's all. Next, we have to paste all of this code inside this our application, right? So next auth and everything. So just copy it, and so I will just copy this one, okay, and paste it here. Now here we have to replace with our Google provider. Okay, so if you scroll down and if you see the provider option, right, here you will find a different providers. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, and just search for the Google. So if you see Google, okay, now is scroll down, we have to add this particular callback URL inside the Google Cloud. Okay, but before that, let's copy this code and then we will work it out. So I will copy this line of code. Okay, let's go back to our application and paste it here like this. Okay, then you also need to copy this Google provider URL. Okay, so let me copy this and let's go back and paste it here. And let's see everything look good. Okay, so here we have to add this providers. Forgot to copy this like this. Perfect. Now our Google provider is integrated. Okay, inside or configured inside this route.js. Now, in order to generate this Google Client ID and Google Client Secret Key, you can watch my previous some of the video which include the NextAuth.js. Okay, and let's go to this Google Cloud Console. And if you don't have account, create a new account. And once you create a new project as well in this Google Cloud, you have to go to this API and service. So click on this API and services. Okay, now if you are creating this project first time, right, you have to create first auth consent screen here. Okay, I already created. You have to just enter this application information, that's all. Then inside the credential, you have to create a new credential. Okay, and once you create this new credential, you are done. So now once you have created this particular credential, you have this URL section, right? Authorized JavaScript origin. Now you are doing this. If you go to this Google, right? For development, you have to enter this localhost 3000. The port number is the one which you are running. Okay. Then you have to just enter this port number I already have, and the redirect URL as well. Okay. And then save it. Once you save it, we have this client ID and the client secret key. Copy this client ID and client secret key, and let me open this in the right side, and then go to this our project. Here you have to create a new folder called .env in a root directory. Okay, so make sure you are creating this in root directory and paste this particular code. So I created Google client adding client secret key, and I pasted my both the keys here. Okay, now this key you have to access it using the process.env.google client secret key, which is the code is already there. Okay, now in order to work it out, right, if you go to back to this particular page inside inside the layout.js, if you go to the layout.js, right, here we actually going to implement or add the logic. Okay, for the session provider. Okay, but you can also do one thing. You have to create a new folder inside this particular app folder called, make sure it is in the here, you have to call that as a provider. Okay, just I will create a new provider.js, and inside that you have to add the some default template. So rfce added this default template, and also add these children like this. Okay, as a prop, and remove this code and replace this with the session provider. Okay, session provider like this. Okay, now here you have to import this line of code. Okay, so this is little different we are doing. Okay, because we are using Next.js 13, right? And if you follow this tutorial, you will understand how to do it. Okay, now paste the session providers, and then you have to just add the children here, add the children like this, and then save it. Now inside the layout.js, right here, over here, uh, we have this particular code, right? Here I have children here. Now wrap these children inside the provider. Okay, bring this down, and then you have to wrap this in a provider. Okay, and make sure to import this one, this, and then add these children here. Okay, and if you see, the provider is imported from this dot slash provider, and then save it everything. Okay, now all this whatever this in inside the children is accessible or controlled by this our authentication. Okay, now what you have to do, if you go back to application, right, it's saying react context is unavailable server component. So the reason is, right, you have to mark provider. If you go to the provider here, right, you have to mark this as explicitly as a use client, because we are using at client side. So inside next 13 you have to apply like this, you use client, and as soon as you do it, right, you'll see right now nothing is on the screen, but you will see the error is gone. So now if I go to the slash login, we want to jump to the login page. Okay, so let's create a folder in app called login, and inside this folder login we will create a new page called page.js. Okay, add the default template, and then replace this name to login. Okay, so component name will give it to login, and now if I go to this slash login on the URL, so it will show the login as a text like this. Okay, perfect. Now it is very important, right, when you create a new folder, uh, and inside that you have to create a page.js. Okay, in order to route it, and every time when you create a folder, that folder nothing but the name of your route. Okay, now inside the div, let's add the image. Okay, so we will add the image from the next slash image, and in the source, right, we will provide the URL or link, right. So in the public folder in the local, I already have logo.png. Okay, so I'm using that one, so just type slash logo.png. Okay, so you don't need to provide a complete path because it's a public folder and you can directly access the file from it. Okay, and after that let's give the alt value. Okay, and the width I will go 100, the height also I will give the 100, and if you see, the logo is displaying on the screen. Okay, perfect. Now let's add the button for the Google. Okay, uh, I already have the button. Okay, so what I will do, I will just copy it, and here I will paste it like this. Okay, I will remove this on click for now, and if I save it, you will see the button is showing on the screen along with the logo. Okay, now let's give some styling to this parent div. Okay, so first of all I will make it as a flex. Okay, and after that I will make it flex column. Okay, so once I do it right, it will be in one column, okay, instead of in one row, right? So by default it will come in the row, but you have to specify flex column. Okay, so that is very important. So that's the reason it will be in one line. After that I will make it justify center, and then align item to be in the center. Okay, so if I save it now, it will be, see, it will be in the center now. Okay, perfect. Now also I will give margin top to 10%. Okay, and if you see, margin top 10% I'm giving right here. If you want to give the custom value, right, you have to give in a square bracket. Okay, so this is very important. Whenever you want to give your own custom value instead of Tailwind CSS, you have to give in brackets. And if you see, the Tailwind CSS also provide some value, and the in background the margin top is 40 pixel, which is equivalent to margin top 10 in Tailwind CSS. Okay, if for flex as well, if you see, behind CSS it's actually showing display as a flex, but Tailwind CSS give some kind of shortcut, you can say, and nothing but the simple display flex, right? Also give some gap to 10. Okay, so we give some distance between these two items like this. Okay, perfect. Now what we have to do, whenever user jump on this particular login page, right, we want to make sure whether user is login or not. Okay, and for that one, in use effect we will check it. Okay, in order to do use effect, you have to make this particular component as a use client. Okay, so that you can use React inbuilt hook. Okay, so use effect we are going to use, and inside this one, obviously whenever the component load, this use effect will get executed, so that we are passing empty array here. Okay, otherwise it will keep executing for every instance and infinite time. So in order to avoid that, we have adding this empty array. Okay, now let's define the data session from the use session. Okay, which store our whether you're login or not, that use session will give you. Okay, so we can obviously check in use effect whether this session is available or not, means user is login or not, right? So here in if condition we can check session dot user. Okay, so make it optional, and if user session dot user is available, then we will jump to the next page. Okay, and we have to make sure that whenever the session is get loaded, this user will get called. Okay, so this is very important. So let's print out the session first. Okay, and let's check whether in the console we are getting session or not. Okay, and if you see, right, let me go to the inspect panel. Okay, let's increase screen and go to the inspect panel, and in the console, okay, right now we are not getting any session. Okay, it's saying undefined. Okay, now here, okay, you have to provide the on click method, right? So on click, okay, you have to add the sign in. Okay, if you see, the sign in is coming from NextAuth. Okay, so this is very important. This is inbuilt function provided by NextAuth.js. Okay, now if I click sign in, okay, and once I saved, click on this button. Okay, and let's clean this one, and if I click sign in, see, the sign in with Google button is coming. Now click on that one and you will see option to select the account to log in with the Gmail. So I select the one, and now if you see on the console, right, we got the session information and we got these users inside that one, right? And here we have email, image, and the name of the user. Perfect. Okay, it means user is login and we got the session information from this session.user. Okay, I hope you understand this one. Now let's add the routing so that we can jump to the next page. So you will add the use router. Okay, and if you see, right now user router is importing from the next slash router, but we have to in Next.js13 we have to import the router from the next navigation. Okay, so let's write import router, and we have to write in a bracket is it's a hook use router. Okay, from next slash navigation. Okay, so this use router hook is getting from the next slash navigation, which is used in Next13. It's very important. Okay, now just write router dot push and we'll give the default path, which is slash. Okay, so obviously it will jump to the default page, and if I save it, see, it jumped to the default page, which is subscribe to YouTube Guruji showing on the page.js. Okay, and which is nothing but default page. Perfect. And if I go to the login, okay, see, it's redirect to this home page, because obviously user is login and we are just making sure if user is login then redirect to the home page. Okay, and that is what right now is doing. Now in page.js, if you see, right, we have this default subscribe to tube Guruji. Now here what I will do, I will just add the button. Okay, the simple button called sign out. And what we will do, once user click on this sign out button, we want to sign out the session, user session. Okay, and automatically is supposed to jump to the login page. So I just added this sign out from the NextAuth/React. Okay, this is the again default method, and save it. Okay, right now what is showing the on click function. Okay, so we have to make sure that we are adding as a use client here. Okay, because we are adding the on click method, and if you see after this one, right, the error is gone, and right sign out button. Now if you see here, right, in use effect, we'll add the use effect. Obviously we want to execute only once. Okay, so let's add the empty array. Okay, so that use effect will execute only once, and here I will add the user session. Okay, to make sure that we are in this page folder, right, page file, we have this session information. So if session is session.user, right, means it's not there, then we redirect to the login page. Okay, obviously I had to write not. Okay, this means session is not available, and obviously we have to add the router as well. Okay, and this router is importing from the next slash navigation. Okay, and now if session is not available, then we have to navigate to router dot push. Okay, so if you see, this is how we want to use it, right? Only thing it's gonna change is the path. Now in this case we will give slash login. Okay, and save it and pass the session here, so that user will execute whenever the session is get updated. Okay, so that's the reason we pass the session in a empty in that array. And if I save it, click on sign out button. If you see, okay, click sign out button now again, and if you see, it's redirect to the login. Now in order to create the header navigation bar, right, we will create one folder called components inside the root directory. So create a new folder called components. Okay, and inside this component we will create a new file called header navbar.js. Okay, and enter it. Now here you have to add the default template, right? So every time you need to import, right, the function and everything, right? In order to avoid that one, let's go to this extension, the VS Code extension, and just search for the React. Okay, like this, and you will see this first VS Code extension called ES7 plus React Redux React Native snippet. Okay, you have to install this extension. Okay, along with that, there is another extension called Tailwind CSS. Okay, which is the official extension for VS Code. Install this one as well. Okay, now let's see how it works. Right, in order to add the default template, you just need to write rfce, right, which is called React Function Export Component. Okay, there are a lot of different ones. If you see, if you are developing the React Native application, you have the React Native function like this. And if you just type like this RFC, enter it, you'll see, you'll get the default template immediately. See, okay, how easy it is, correct? Now save everything. Once you save it, you have this hidden navigation bar written in the hidden navigation bar, right? Now we want to put this hidden navigation bar the top of this application, right? And every time we want to see throughout the application. So instead of putting into the page.js, we will put in layout.js. Okay, so it will be consistent throughout the application. So here, if you see, right, our children is nothing but you can call a page is getting rendered in this particular children component. Above this, we will add the header. So just add header navbar, and if you see, it's adding from the component. Okay, like this. If I save it, let's go back to our application. And if you see, header navigation bar is displaying it on the screen. Perfect. Now, in layout.js, use this use client, and header.navigation bar also use this use client. Okay. Now let's start implementing this one. First of all, on the left hand side, we will show logo, then two menu option called home and favorite, then search bar and the user's profile pic. Okay. So here we'll add image from the next slash image and add the source. Obviously, we will add the logo from the local asset from public folder, and then here we'll give the alt tag. So let's give alt tag called logo. Width you can give 50 pixel, height you can give 50 pixel. Okay, and save it. And if you see, logo it displaying on the screen. Now let's add another one h2 tag for home, and another is for tag for favorite. Okay, and save it. If you see, home and favorite displaying on the screen. Okay, now let's bring everything in one line. Okay, so I will wrap this div because here like this. Okay, and for this one, that's type, sorry, class name or flex, then flex column, sorry, flex row. Obviously, if you do not add flex row, it will be in one line. Okay, then I give gap of 5 like this, and make item to be in the center, so it will be horizontally vertically to be center like this. Okay, now let's add the input, the search bar. Okay, so obviously here I will use the hero icons. Okay, so this is one of the best icon library. Okay, you don't need to install anything, and it's based on Tailwind CSS. So just search the icon which you want, and this copy.jsx file, or you can copy the svg file, no issue. And then inside this one I will paste it here like this. And also I will add the input. So input of type text like this. Okay, and end the tag. Now if I save it and let's go back to our application. Okay, it's coming here, and this text box is coming under that one. Okay, so let's bring everything together. Let me format this document first. Okay, and then there's a class name to be flex. Okay, now it will be in one line. Also I will change the background, so I will change background to be gray 100 like this. If you see, is the background of this one is white currently, the input field, right? So what I will do, I will add the class name and make background to be transparent. So bg transparent. If you see, it's working perfectly fine. Also make give padding of 1 maybe for now, or you can do custom as well. Okay, for example 6 pixel like this. And then after that one you can go rounded corner, so I will give rounded to be medium. Okay, then I will add width to be 40% like this. Okay, see, looking perfectly fine. And if you see, right, this border is coming when I click on this one, right? So for this one you can say uh, outline to be none. Okay, and make width to be full. And if you see, it's working fine. Also you can give gap between this icon and the input. Just say here gap of 3 maybe, and perfect. Now for this div, let's add the parent div, right? Let's add class name and make it flex so it will be in one line, and also make it item to be in the center like this. Okay, perfect. Now if you see, it will be in one line. And the last, we will add the user profile pic, and then we will again apply some styling. So after this div, I will add one more div for the image and source. Okay, now in this case we need to add the source from the session, the user's login profile pic, right? Then here you have to add constant data called session is equal to use session. So from this use session, right, which is obviously from the next authentication, we will get the user's information. Okay, and here we will add the condition. Okay, if data is there, okay, sorry, sessions dot user is available, then only show this image, otherwise don't show anything. And now from the session dot user, right, session dot user dot image, we will get this url of this particular user profile pic. Okay, what I will do here, let's do some alt tag and everything. So let's say alt user, then width I will give 50 pixel, height I will give 50. Okay, and I will add class name, and I will make let's first see how it looks. If I save it, you will see this cannot read property of undefined user. Let's make this optional. And if you see, we got this one error called host name. This particular host name is not configured under image in nextconfig.js, right? As I told you in the beginning of this particular lecture, right, we need to configure this next.config.js when you are fetching the image from the url. So let's go back to this nextconfig.js. Okay, inside this next config you have to create one field called images. Inside the image, sorry, we have to call domain like this, and then inside the domains array we have to provide the this particular host name. So whenever you are using the url from the different domain, that domain need to be included here. Okay, this is for the security purpose, you can say. And save it. As soon as you save, you have to make sure you stop the server and rerun it again. Okay, because you made the change in the config.js file. Okay, so whenever you make the changes in any config file or packet.json, you have to make sure you will rerun the application. Okay, and if you see, the user's profile is showing on the screen. Now let's apply some styling to this one. So here I will say class name, rounded I will do full, so it will be in circular. See, perfect. If I increase the size, it will look like this. I think the user profile pic is too big. I will make it 40. Okay, and I think that's good. Now for this parent div, I will make it justify between. Okay, and if I make this like this, it will look like this. See. Okay, also let's give padding. So I will add some padding to be 4. Okay, perfect. And for this input, right, we added this input. Here I will add the placeholder. So placeholder called search. Okay, perfect. We have search bar, we have home favorite, and we have this one. Okay, you can give some gap between these two menu. So I will give gap of, maybe we already have, but I will increase to 7, and now it looks perfectly fine. Okay, but the thing is, when does we decrease the screen size, right? See, if you are on mobile, the search is overlapping. Okay, so what we will do, we will hide that search bar, and it's quite easy. Okay, so for this div, right, we have this div. So here you can define uh, hidden property initially, and this hidden will affect when you have this a smaller screen size. Okay, and when the screen size is medium or larger, then you can add this flex like this. And if I save it, you see, if hidden, if I increase the size, it will show it on the screen. Okay, If you have any question until this point, let me know in the comment section. Now let's update the font, okay, throughout the application. Right now, if you see, we have this default font. Let's go back to application. Right in the layout.js, we have this inter font available, okay. And if you want to change this font, it's quite easy, okay. So we have this import statement called inter, okay. If you want to change to some others, for example, if I want to change this railway font, right, which is importing from the Google, I will replace this with the inter like this. I will put the subsidy as a Latin only. I will rename this, or you can keep it as it is, but for the convention, correct convention, I will change to railway, and make sure in the body tag we have this class name, and right now is added inter dot class name, change it to the railway, okay, and save it. As soon as you save, see, the font family change completely throughout the application, right? You don't need to specify every time. For more detail, okay, you can just go to this font section, okay. So how to optimize the font and how to use it, you will find all the documentation, all the necessary information on this page, okay. And if you have any question regarding this Google font, how to use Google font in Next.js, let me know in the comment section. Now let's divide this layout into two section, okay. And on the first section, it's 1/4 of this complete screen, and then the another section is 3/4, okay. So if you go to this page.js, right, here we will define the class name, and here we will define the grid, okay, because we want to show the grid. Then we will define a four columns, okay, means we will divide the screen into four sections, okay. Next here, let's define one div, okay. And for simplicity purpose, what I will do, I will put the background color to be uh, red for now, okay, like this. And here I will say first, okay. If you see, it's showing. And next I will copy this paste and here like this, okay, and will be second, okay. And I will change to this to blue and save it. And if you see, it's showing, but we want the second to be complete one, okay, means full screen. Here then you have to just define column, span, and define three, okay. So the out of four column, the three column is assigned to the second one, and one remaining column is assigned to the first one. And if I save it, you will see the change, see, okay. So that's what we wanted. Now if you define this as a h screen, okay, it will be at a full screen, see, okay. You can define this one over here, so it's also applicable to the both of these div, okay. I hope you understand, this is very important things, okay, because on the left hand side and right hand side we are going to implement two different components, okay. On the second component we will show the Google Map, and on the left hand side we will show all the properties, the accessing, and means the searching and everything, okay. So let's see how we're going to do that now. Now let's implement the category list first here, okay. So first of all, I will remove this class name, so I don't want to show this red and blue, okay, like this, and save it. Now inside this component folder, we'll create a new folder called home. So all home related components will keep in this particular folder. Inside the home component, sorry, inside the home folder, we'll create a new folder called category list.js, okay, and add the default template. So here, first of all, we need to show the category list in this particular component, okay. Also I created another folder called shared here, okay, inside the root directory, and inside that I added this data.js, okay, which consists of the id, the name, okay, because right now we are showing the different type of foods, okay, and their restaurant we are showing on the map. Now we are showing value and the icon. So all the icons I added in the public folder, okay. So you can get access to this particular source code, and you can access the all assets. So right now I added this four category, you can add more, and I exported this particular array list, okay, the category list data. Now what you have to do, let's define constant, and here we will define the category list. Okay, so inside the category list, set category list is equal to use state. Okay? And inside the state we will try to fetch the data. Okay, so you have to define data dot category list data. Okay, so obviously you have to import the data first. Okay, so just import the statement and then you can access to this category list data. Okay, now once you have the category list data, we have to iterate it. Okay, also make sure the component name is start with capital C and this is the small. Okay, and make sure whenever you create a component file, the component name should be start with the capital letter. Now here we need to iterate it. Okay, so first of all, what I will do, I will add one text called select category. Okay, so just write select, or we can select food type. Okay, and I will add the class name here, like font to be bold. Okay, and save it. And make sure now once you added this category, you have to add that category in page.js. Okay, this is our home page. So here I will add that category. So category list. See, okay, and save it. So as soon as save, you got this select category types showing on the screen. Okay, perfect. Sorry. Okay. Now let's iterate it. Okay, so I will define one div. Inside div, I will call category list dot map, and we have item like this and the arrow function. Okay, now here I will define one div, and inside this div we can pass or we can add the category list code. Okay, so there are two ways. We can directly write code over here, or you can create a different component. Okay, so what you can do, you can create a different component. Right now I will keep here as it is. Okay, so inside this div you can add this, let's make sure that you are getting all the items. So what I will do, I will just print out the name of the category. If I save it, see, all four categories showing. Okay, perfect. Now first I will add the image. Okay, so add the image from the next slash image, the source. Okay, obviously source will be item dot icon. Okay, close the tag. Here I will add alt tag. For the alt tag I will give the name of the uh, category which is unique. Okay, or you can give id whatever you want. Then the width, so I will put the width of 40. Height I will put as of 40 and save it. If you see, our icon is showing. Okay, next add the item dot name, item dot name, and save it. See, it's coming. Now let's apply some styling to this one. So class name, make it flex and flex column. Okay, and then we have to make it just, oh sorry, justify the center and make item to be center like this. Okay, then add the background. So background gray 100 I will add. Okay, then add some padding. So I will add padding of 2 and margin of 2 as well. Okay, then round it to be maybe large. Okay, so the corner to be rounded to be large. Okay, and then I think that's good enough, right? Another thing, right now I want to give some effect, right? Whenever I did not select anything, right, it need to be in the gray color, and when I hover on this one, it need to be, it change to different color. Okay, so we have property called grayscale. If you have mentioned the grayscale, right, see, it changed to black and white. Okay, but it's not look good, right? But on hover, when you mouse hover on it, right, you can change the grayscale to 0 and save it. Now if I hover on it, see, it perfectly working, right? Also I will make the cursor to be pointer, so it will look like this. Okay, one more thing I will add, when I hover on this one, right, I can show the border. Okay, it's up to you. But before that, let's give some padding to this one, right? So go to the page.js And here only I will give some padding, so padding of maybe 4. This is fine. Now let's give 3. Okay, so I give the padding of 3, and if I increase size, it look like this right now. Okay, but when this screen size is bigger, right, we want to show in the grid format. So what you have to do, go to the category list, and for this div let's add some class name. So initially I will show only one column when the screen size is smaller. When screen size is medium, we can show grid column to be 2. Okay, and when screen size is larger, you can show grid column to be 3. Let me bring this down like this and save it. Okay, now if I increase size, see, it's showing 3, right? And if I hover on it, you will see the image is getting colored, right? And it's look beautiful. Now what you have to do, once you users click on it, right, we want to make it active, correct? So for that one, let's first define one state. Okay, constant selected, I will name it selected category, comma set selected category is equal to use state. Okay, like this. And whenever user click on it, we will save the index, so we will add the index here. Okay, and for this div I will add on click method. Okay. So on the click of this particular div, we will set the set selected category, and we will store this index. So just write index. Now index contains 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, whatever, and save it. Right now, doesn't affect. Okay, we are just storing this set selected category. But now when you select it, we want to change this color, right? So that for that one we have to apply the dynamic Tailwind CSS classes, right? In order to do that, for this class name, first wrap everything in a curly braces, and then this quote, right? If you see, and remove this single quote. Okay. Now here, whatever the dynamically class name you want to apply, you have to write in dollar and curly braces. Okay, and then you have to write the condition. So in this case, we can write condition selected category is equal to index. Okay, if selected and index value is same, then we can say uh, just add this gray cursor to be 0. Okay, so just copy this like this. Otherwise, show nothing. It need to be in one line actually. Okay, and let's see what's the issue. Okay, we have to close this tag. Okay, you can bring this down, this one as well. Sorry, let's put everything in one line. Okay, and if I save it and let's click on it, see, still there and it's colored. Okay, now what I will do, I will also add some border. So if I say border of 1 pixel and border blue 400 and save it, you see the border is also in blue color, but I only want to add this border when user select it, right? So remove this border 1 px from here and add it in your condition with the grayscale and save it. See, okay, perfect. I hope you understand this one. Okay, and if you have any question, let me know in the comment section. I will change to purple actually. Yeah, that's look good. Okay, and you can modify on your own. Whatever the animation you can put, you want to add, you can. Okay, but right now, as this is a beginner friendly course, so that's the reason I will keep everything simple. Okay, and if you have any question, if you do not understand anything, then let me know in the comment section, and you can access my source code anytime, guys. Okay, now we will add the range selection component. Okay, so inside the home folder, we create a new folder called range select.js. Okay, and add the default template. Let's import this particular component into the page.js after category list. So we'll add range select. If I save this one, okay, save this one, and see, range select is coming. Okay, now save everything. Okay, now Here, first of all, I will give the heading. So let's type h2, and here I will say select radius. Okay, and it should be in meter, like this. Okay, and save it. See, it's showing. Okay, now apply some styling. So I will add the class name, font bold. I will also add padding x to 2. Okay, like this. Now let's add the range selection. Okay, so we'll add input, and we put the input of type range. Okay, like this, and save it. If you see, we got this perfect range selection styling. Okay, with this minimal code. But let's add some classes to this one. So add a class name. First we'll add width to be full, height to be 2. Okay, like this. Then we'll change the background color to 200, and then we'll make rounded to be large, then appearance to be none. Okay, so if you see, the background color gone, and we just want only this thing. Okay, then we'll add the cursor pointer, and we need to define the minimum max right after this class name. Once we're done with this class name, okay, so I think we are done with this name. Now here we have to give the minimum and maximum value. So here in this case I will give minimum to be 0 and maximum to be 100. So it will move from 0 to 100. Okay, you can mention maybe 1. For now let's make it 0 to 100. Okay, then you have to give the default, let's say step as well. So how many step you want to change, 100, 200, like this. Okay, so we'll make the step change to 100. Okay, you can just mention in this way or in this way. That's not a issue. Okay, so by 10 the value will get changed. And one more thing is remaining is to add the default value. Okay, so what I will do, I will put one constant called radius. Set radius is equal to use state. Okay, and default value I will put to be 50, like this. Okay, or you can put 10, that's fine. Okay, and then pass this radius to this default value. Okay, so if you see, it's passing here. Okay, now the another thing what we have to do, okay, we have to set, when we move this, right, we want to set the default value. Okay, so here you have to define on change method. Okay, and it will be event e. So here you have to mention set radius, and here we want to set the radius value. So in order to get to value, you have to write e dot target dot value, like this, and save it. And in order to display which value is selected, what I will do, I will add one label here, and inside this we'll just put the radius. Okay, in miles or in meters, sorry, and save it. So right now default is 10. Let me refresh everything. If I change this one, okay, if I change, see, it's changed 60, 90, 100. Okay, perfect. Now only thing we can do, we can multiply this by 10. So for example 10, maybe 100, 6,000 miles, 5,000 miles, meters, like this. Okay, I hope you understand this one. And then you can apply some styling. It's up to you how many radius you want to cover. Okay, on user selection, the minimum and the maximum you can give it. Okay, so let me add some styling to this one. Class name, and I will add the text to be gray, 500, and I will take change to 15 pixel. If I increase the size, see, it's look beautiful. Okay, we'll use some padding and from the top. So for this one, class name, margin top to 5, and if you see, perfect, it perfectly look beautiful. Okay, now here if you see, right, when the screen size is smaller, this our all this function to select, right, is going down, right. to solve this issue, what we can do, first of all, let's go to this page.js, and here, when the screen size is smaller, we can change grid column to 1. Okay, and when screen size is medium or larger, then we'll show this column 4. Okay, if I save it, it will look like this. Okay, now let's go back to the category list, and inside this category list I will add this columns 2 when screen size is smaller, and then it will look like this. If I increase the screen size, it will look as default as we have already, right? But when the screen size is smaller, it will look like this, and which is pretty good right now, right? Also, if you want to little modify it, right, if you go to the page.js, here you just define uh, justify center, okay, like this, and maybe item to be in the center. Maybe this, I don't know why it's not okay, but that's fine. So this is how we can change the layout. Okay, so now next implement this rating. Okay, so user can select rating from 1 to 5 to check the all the nearby restaurants. Okay, so what you need to do here, we are inside this home folder, create a new folder called select rating or js. Okay, and here add the default template. Okay, make sure to add the select rating inside here, select rating. Okay, and if you see, select rating displayed on the screen. Okay, now let's add the title. So h2 tag, I will say select rating. Okay, here let's give some styling. So class name, font to be bold. Okay, and here I will give the padding x to 2, margin top to 5. Okay, perfect, looks good. Now here I already added this data in data.js, this rating list. Okay, it's contain id, name, and this icon. So icon I copied directly. You can directly copy it. It's a text only. Okay, and now we will iterate this icons list. Okay, so after this title, what we can do, we can add new div. Okay. Inside div we'll add data, so which is coming from shared data dot rating list dot map. Okay. So this will be item, like this, and add the another div like this. Now first we'll iterate this ratings icon. So let's add label. We can say item dot icon. Okay, and if I save it, see, it beautifully comes up, right? And then after this, we will add the checkbox. So input of type checkbox and in the tag. Okay, and save it. So see, but we want this tag at the one end. Okay, so what you need to do, um, for this div, right, so add this div to class name, make it flex, and just say justify between. Okay, it's coming on the right hand side, and when the screen size is bigger, it beautifully looks, right? Perfect. Now you, when user select any of these, right, we need to store somewhere, right? So for that one, let's define one state called selected rating, comma set selected rating is equal to use state. Okay, like this, and pass the empty array. Then we have to write one condition on the change of this input. So what I will do, I will write on change, right? And here I will define one method, right? For example, on select on select rating. Okay, and for this one we will pass whether this particular checkbox is check or not. So that we will get from the event dot target dot check. Okay, and then we will also get this item icon, or we can pass the id either of fine, right? Also we'll keep this index here and make sure to pass this index. Here I will pass the item dot value, you can pass, or you can pass name. We don't want this one. Now define this method. So here constant On select rating, inside this one, obviously we have to pass is check, comma, value. Okay, and here we have to define if is check. If the checkbox is checked, then we have to set the selected rating, and we have to append the value with the existing one. If existing has a rating 2 in the array and user selected 3, then we need to make sure that 2 and 3 also stored in this same select rating state. So for that one, we have to make sure we have add the previous value, which is selected rating, comma, the new value. So it will store the existing plus new. And if the user is unchecked the particular selection, right, here then you can say set selected rating. Okay, and inside that you can just filter it out. Selected rating filter, you can put the n as a value from the selected rating, and if n is not equal to value, like this. Okay, and then you can print out. Obviously immediately the selected rating will not get updated. Okay, so but still we can just print it out here, selected rating, and save it. Now let me increase the size, clean everything. Now if I select the rating 3, right now it's not showing, but next time when I click it, it will show the 3. See see 2 3 4 is coming, or 3 4 2 is coming. Okay, this is how it works. I hope you understand this one. Okay, so on the basis of this selection, we will pass this value to our Google Place API, so that we will get the accurate and exact result from the API. Okay, and depends on that one, we will show the information on the Google Map. Okay, next we will add this Google Map on the screen. Now, in order to integrate Google Map in our application, we need to install one dependency. Okay, so just type npm I at the rate react dash google dash map slash API. Okay, and click enter. So it will install this React Google Map for the React. Okay, once it install, make sure in packet.json it install correctly. Okay, perfect. Now in the home folder, we will create a new uh, component called Google Map. Google Map view.js. Okay, and add the default template like this. Okay, now make sure that we need to integrate add this component in page.js inside this particular div. Okay, Google span. So here I will add the Google Map view like this and save it. Okay, now let's go back to our application. Let me open it here, and if you see, Google Map view is showing on the screen. Okay, now go to the Google Map view, and here we will add this Google Map. Okay, now first of all, we have to load the script. Okay, so load the script, and inside this load script, okay, let me do like this. We have to provide one property, which is the Google Maps API. Okay, so if I type like this, you will see Google Maps API key is coming. Okay, here you need to add this Google Map API key. Okay, so in .environment file, you make sure you will add that one. So go to .env file, and here I will add like this. Okay, perfect. So both the keys. If you don't know how to create this key, I will tell you in a minute. Okay, but before that, let's come back to our Google Map view, and here you have to define this environment key, which is process.env dot, let's copy, it's not suggesting, let's copy this next Google Map API key. Okay, the reason that we use next, right, whenever you are using this any API key on the client side, you have to mention it as next underscore public. Okay, and underscore, then you can give the name of your key. Okay, and if you are using on API side or anywhere, then simply you can define Google underscore API underscore key. Okay, now once you save it, go back here, and after this, right, here you have to mention Google Map. So let's Google Map, and if you see, Google Maps is importing from this Google Maps API/API. Okay, once you add this one, open like this, and inside here you have to provide some of the property, which is map container style. Okay, so here we have to define a container style. Okay, so at the top we will define it here as a constant container style is equal to, and here define the width. So we'll define width, uh, maybe we can define 100%. And height we'll define maybe 70 vertical height, like this. Okay, and make sure you will add this container style. You can use the name container style and add it here like this. Okay, after that, uh, we have to provide the coordinates. Okay, the center coordinate. So you can define any center coordinates. Okay, I have one for a, maybe testing purpose, you can say. I will write location constant, and I will say coordinate is equal to this latitude and the longitude. Right, and define this coordinate over here like this. Okay, and after that you can mention zoom. Okay, so you can mention zoom like maybe 13. Okay, so this is the percentage, not percentage, but you will see how it works, and then save it. Okay, and if you see, the map is showing on the screen. Okay, now you can zoom it out, zoom in. Okay, now if you change the percentage to 10, see, if I change to 5, it will zoom out. Okay, if I give more, it will more go into this more zoom it applicable. Okay, so that's the reason I will keep 12, maybe like this. Okay, right now it's showing this coordinate because we give the coordinate to this dummy center coordinates. Okay, so I hope you understand this particular scenario. Okay, now let's see how you can get this API key. For that you have to go to the Google Cloud Console, and once you go to the Google Cloud Console, if you don't have account, make create an account. Okay, and you have to use same account which you use for the uh, authentication, right? So go to this API and services. Okay, here you have to search for Google Map. Okay, and Google Map HDK, you can say, not needed, but you can just search Google Map and you'll find it. Okay, so here um, you can enable this place API first. Okay, because we need this, and here you will see the button, just click enable. Okay, and let me search, do we need anything else? So I don't think so, that's the only thing which we need, right? And you can enable this one as well. I'm not sure whether I enable or not. Let's see. Okay, I think we don't need it. Okay, so once you enable this Google Map, then you have to go to this again API services, and here you have to create a in credential, you have to create a new API key. Okay, once you create the new API key, it will look like this. Okay, and you can restrict this API key. Do you want for website, or you can restrict to some IP address or something like that, right? And you have to use this API key. Okay, so I hope you understand this. If you have any question, watch my some previous video, you will understand this one. Okay, and this is how we can generate this API key for us. Okay, next we will show the user's location on the map. Okay, before showing user's location on the screen, first of all we will style this particular map. Okay, and we can change the color of this particular roads or everything. You can customize this complete map. Okay, so for that one, uh, let's go to the, just type Google Map custom styling studio, something like this. Okay, and it will open the styling wizard. Okay, the link I will put it in the description. So this is the default map right now we have. Okay, we install. Now if you don't want the, for example, labels, you can just remove like this, see. Okay, and just map, you can get it. Okay, or you can, if you want to add the labels, you can add it, how much label you want, how much detail you want, you can totally customize it. Okay, the road, how much road you want, or do you want a road or not, everything. Now here you will select the themes as well. So for example, a silver theme, right? Or maybe a retro theme. You have dark mode, okay, the night mode, a lot of different things, okay. And this is completely, you can completely customize it. If you go to the more option, each these things you can customize it, okay. And once you're done with the customization, right, for example, in this case we will select the silver, okay. You will select some labels like this, okay, not too much, and the roads. Now if you click on finish, it will give you this JSON file. Copy this JSON, okay. Now you have to go to this Google Cloud. Here you have to search for map styles. See, okay. Once you search this map style, here you can create a new map style. Okay, so just click on create style, and you can select from the existing one. Okay, so gray or something like this, right? Or you can paste whatever we copied like this. Okay, so maybe we did not copy correctly. Wait, so here we just finish, right? Just click on finish and then copy this JSON. Okay, now make sure to paste it, and if you see, it's showing the gray color, okay, the one which we modified. And just click on save. You can give name, so gray map, okay, and save it. Once you save this, right, now we have to add the map ID, okay. So right now if you see, we don't have any map ID, so what you have to do, you have to search for the map management, okay. Once you go to this map management, you can create a map ID, and you can create a map ID gray map. You can select for which you want. I will say JavaScript, keep the raster and save it, okay. Once you save it, you scroll down. Here you can select the map style, so you can assign this key to the map style which we created before. So we can assign to the gray map, and it will look like this, and just click save, okay. And that's all, it's done, right? Now what you have to do, if you go to this map styles, right, and open this gray map, if you see, this ID is assigned to this particular map ID, okay. Sorry, this Google Map is assigned to this ID. Copy this ID, okay, and go back to our application. So let me open this one here, and inside this load script, okay, you have to add this particular ID, okay. So you just need to define map ID and paste this ID, okay, like this. Also, you have to add this ID over here in the options. In the curly braces, you have to provide map ID. Map ID like this, and add this ID here. Curly braces, okay, and save it. So refresh it, okay. So sometimes what happen, it will take some time to load the, because we just created it, and map is getting assigned to this uh, particular ID, right? So that's the reason it will take some time. So maybe I think we need to put this in a square bracket, and then refresh it, and if you see, the map is showing on the screen, right? Make sure to put this in a uh, square bracket. Now here you can provide a multiple value, it's up to you, okay. And if you see, the map is showing on the screen, okay. If you have any question, any doubt regarding how to style the map, right, let me know in the comment section. Now next, we will get the users location, okay, and for that one we need a latitude and longitude of the users, okay, in order to show it on the map. So in order to get it right, we will go to this layout.js, okay. And here inside this return, we will fetch it the users location at this particular section, okay. So I will define one constant. Here I will say get user location. Okay, we'll create this method, and inside this method, okay, we need to get it. So we have to type navigator dot geolocation, okay, dot get current position, okay. And this will give us the current location of the user, this, okay. And if I console dot log the position, we'll see the all this information, okay. And make sure in use effect you will call this one, okay. So use effect, obviously we want to only execute only once, and define like here like this. Okay, and save it. As soon as you save it, right? So let's see, go to the inspect panel. In the console, if you see, the geolocation is coming. Okay, if sometimes if you did not enable notification, it will ask you the notification. See, the location permission, right? Enable means obviously it will ask you once you land on this particular page. Okay, and if you go to geolocation, in the coordinates you will find the latitude and longitude. Okay, and now this latitude and longitude we will use to show it on the screen. Okay, but one more thing, we need this user location at many components, right? And every time we, it's very hard to pass it to the different components, right? So that we will use context here. Okay, so once we store our location information in context, we can use that context throughout the application. Okay, and we can change it anywhere. So that's the reason we will use the context, and context is quite powerful. Okay, and if you want to learn more about the context, how to use in everything, you can watch my previous video. But don't worry, in this course as particular video as well, we will learn how to create the own context and how to store our data. Okay, so in the root directory, create a new folder called context. Okay, like this, and inside the context we'll create a new file called user location context.js. Okay, here once you're in this user location context page, define constant user, give the same name with the file name. Okay, location context is equal to, you have to write create context. Okay, and it is importing from the React. Pass it initially null. Also make sure to export this user location context so that it will be available throughout the application. And now save it, and that's all, our context is ready. Okay, now until this point, if you have any question, let me know. And one more thing, now obviously this context we will use to store the data. That's what I am going to tell you now. Now go to the layout.js. Here we have to wrap these children and these particular components inside our context. Okay, so that whatever the components you define in between this context, the all the information is accessible to that particular components. Okay, so here you can define the user location context like this. Okay, dot right provider. Okay, and close the tag. Make sure to wrap this both the components like this. And here, for this provider, you have to provide value, which value you have to share with all the components, right? So obviously we have to store this user's location. Okay, so for that one, you have to define the one state. So here what I will do, I will define state constant user location comma set user location is equal to use state like this. Okay, and it will be empty initially. And over here we can define set users location. Okay? And inside that we need to define latitude and longitude. Okay, like this. So we added this latitude and longitude, and probably get user location. And now this user location and set user location, we have to pass it as a value. So I will define value in double curly braces. You have to pass this to value. Okay, so that whenever you want user can access this user location and they can update it from anywhere. Okay, and save it now. Now interesting thing, right? Let's go back to our Google Map view. So let's go to Google Map view. Okay, and here we need to use the location, correct? So for that one, first define constant. Okay, and now we want to use context information, right? So in the curly braces you have to define user location comma set user location is equal to use context. Okay, and inside this user context you have to provide the context name. So in this case is user location context. Okay, now we have this user location information. Okay, if you want to print it here, let's try to print it. User location, and if I save it, if you see the user location printing on the map view, see map view 12. Okay, so we got this user location. and that we define in layout.js, but we can access it easily in Google Map view. That's the reason context is quite helpful when you want to share the any state in any nested components. Okay, now instead of passing this coordinate, you can pass this user location as the center. Okay, and save it. Now if you see, it's showing my location on the map. Okay, obviously it did not added the marker yet. Okay, but it's center to the my current location. Okay, next we will learn how to add the marker, and for our user location we will add the marker. Now let's add the marker on the user location. Okay, so let's go back to our application, and inside this Google Map, right, we need to add the marker. Okay, so here let's define marker, and if you see this marker F, so select that one, and in the tag you can close like this. Inside this you have to provide the position. So obviously position is the user's location, which all we already have. Then you can provide the name which you want. You can define your custom icon. If you put like this and save it, right, you'll see the location, and this icon is default icon from the Google. Okay, but you can define your own custom icon. So just say icon, and inside this you have to provide the URL of the icon. You can put the URL from anything, or you can access it from the your local. User location pin. So in order to access it, just write user dash location dot png. Okay, and then you have to provide the scale size. So just write scale size. Inside this you have to define the size. So in this we say width of 50, and then height maybe I will say 50. Make sure to give the comma here and save it. Okay, now you have to refresh the screen in order to see the effect, and if you see, user location with the custom marker is showing on the screen. Okay, so this is my custom sorry, this is my custom marker with my current location. See here. Okay, so you can use any marker. You can go to the any icon and select it and put it here. Okay, it's up to you. Now in this particular section we are going to build the API for the Google Place. Okay, so if you go to this Google Map Place documentation, right, and this text search slash JSON, this particular API we are going to use. Okay, we already have this API key, same API key we are going to use, and along with this API key, some more parameter we are going to send it to this particular endpoint. Okay, so let's go back to our application, and oops, sorry, so here it is. Okay, so inside the API folder, we have to create a new folder called Google Dash Place. Okay, this will be our API endpoint. Inside that, we have to create a folder called route.js. Okay, every time whenever we create API endpoint, the API endpoint name should be a folder name, and inside that we have to create a route.js. Okay, inside the route.js, we are going to implement the API key. Okay, so first of all, we will define the constant base URL. Okay, so the base URL is the one which I already have. Okay, and you can copy paste from the Google Place documentation. Okay, so this is the base URL. Then we have to add the Google API key. Obviously Google API key from the environment variable. Okay, so I will add like this, and after that we have to write export sync function. Okay, so this will be our get function. Okay, so it means get request. So in that we have to write request, and then inside that we have to call that particular API. Okay, so obviously we have to write constant result is equal to await. Okay, then with the help of fetch, we will fetch the result from this base URL. Okay, obviously we have to have base URL. Then there's some I will copy paste the existing or everything, right? Like this. So this is the base URL. Then the endpoint like text search slash JSON. The query is nothing but the whatever the category we are passing, like Indian food, Chinese food kind of thing, right? That we have to pass. Then in the location we have to pass latitude comma longitude. Then after that we have to pass radius, okay, how much meters you want to search, and then the Google API key. Okay, after that it's quite simple. You just need to return this result. Okay, so after this one you have to get this result as a JSON, save it in a product, and then with the help of next response, obviously next response you have to import. Okay, so from the next live server, and then you have to return this product. Okay, now very important thing, this is the Next.js13. Okay, and this little bit different than the old Next.js. Okay, so in Next.js13 you have to follow this same file structure, and then this is the way we can fetch the data. Okay, let's test it out. So I saved everything. Let's go back here. Okay, now you can access with the help of API slash Google Place. So you can call this API. Okay, is equal to Indian. Then we have to provide some more value like radius, provide 1000, latitude and longitude. Okay, so right now we are getting error. Let's see what's the error. So here, okay, so obviously we are passing this all the value, right? This value we have to accept it here. Okay, so obviously first of all here we have to define constant, then search parameters that which we are passing. Okay, is equal to, sorry, is equal to new URL, and then request, the request which is this one. Okay, dot URL. Okay, and then simply we have to store each of these variable like constant category is equal to search params, and sorry, search param dot get, and then we have to get that whatever the value we are sending here, right? If you see, oh sorry, so this one, right, category radius latitude. Okay, so the first is category. Okay, same thing you have to do for radius, latitude and longitude. Okay, so I will just copy paste like this and paste it here. Okay, and save it. Now let's save, refresh the screen, and if you see right now we get the result. Okay, so with the help of location, the radius and the category, we are getting all the information. Okay, perfect. So this is how we can write the API in a Next.js. Okay, so now this API we are going to use in our application. Okay, so this, in this component we are going to use this result, and then we will display the business list or place list on the UI side. So we successfully built the API for our Google Place. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to call this API inside our application. Okay, so inside this shared folder I will create a new folder called global API.js, where we will keep all our API calls. Okay, so just type constant, say get Google Place is equal to, right now I will put empty because I'm going to hard code some value for testing purpose, and then we will pass the actual value. Okay, so in this particular example, right, I am using this Axios HTTP client. Okay, which is one of the best in the market. So it's very easy to install. Just execute this line of code and just install it. I already installed, so you can just access like this Axios, and once you install, right, it will add this one. So there are different way you can add this one. Okay, then you have option called get, and inside this get option you have to call your actual URL. Okay, so it's very easy. You have to just call slash, then API, because our API is in this API folder. Okay, slash, and then endpoint, so in this case is Google Place. Okay, and then you have to pass the all this the category and radius everything, right? I will copy this one for now, but we will replace it with the actual value. Okay, so like this. Okay, and now in order to use this, right, we have to export this particular endpoint. So export default, and then just say get Google Place, like this. Okay, now this get Google Place will be accessible throughout the application. Now save everything. Now go to the page.js where we are going to paste this all the business or place list. Okay, so constant get Google Place. Okay, so this is the function which we are going to create, and inside this one we will access global API dot get Google Place. Okay, and this is the promise, so obviously we have to apply then response, and then inside the response we will just console the response for now. Okay, so here we write response dot data. Okay, because in this response dot data, as this is Axios, right, and this is promise, our result will be in the response dot data. Okay, now save this one. Now obviously this we need to call it. So what I will do, I will create a new user effect. Okay, because this user effect will execute even though the section got changed, and I don't want that one. And obviously we want to execute only once, and then you can call it here. Okay, like this, and save. Now let's go back to our application, and let's open this terminal, refresh the screen, and if you see, okay, just wait. So right now it's saying the 404 error. Okay, this particular API is not finding, because if you see, right, this API endpoint we added is incorrect. So obviously let's go back to global API, and over here we have to add the question mark. Okay, so that's what we miss. So let's clean everything now. Let me refresh the screen. And if you see, we got the product list. Okay, if you see, we got two times here, and another one is here. Okay, and inside the product we have the results. See. Okay, so we can access it like page.js, just result. So right, product dot results. Now we'll get only the this 20 items. Okay, so let's save this one. Let me clean and refresh the screen again, and let's wait. So something is not correct. Okay, so cannot read property of undefined. So let's see, maybe it's only result. Let's see what is called, it's a results product, not result. Okay, product results. Okay, make sure the spelling is correct, everything is correct, and save it. Now let's go back to application, and if you see, we got this result. Okay, so all the 20. Now let's pass the actual data. Okay, so let's get the category list. So first of all, let's go to the category list, and on the click of this category list we will write another call, like on category change. Okay, and here we will pass the item dot value. Okay, and make sure we have to pass this on category change back to the parent component. Okay, so like this in curly braces we have to pass it back. And now let's go to this page.js. Inside the category list we have to accept it here like this. Okay, sorry, so like this. Okay, and here will be the value. Now we need to store this value somewhere, right? So we will define a state. So constant say category comma set category is equal to use state. Okay, and similarly we will also set it for the range. So we'll say, or we can call radius, set radius. Okay, like this. Obviously I will give the radius value by default to 2500, and for category just write set category, and then you have to pass the category name, which is this value. Okay, now what you have to do, whenever this category change, okay, or get updated, we have to call this get Google Place. Okay, so here you have to write category. Okay, so whenever the category change, this will get execute. Okay, and same with the radius as well. Whenever radius get changed, this user effect will get called, and get Google Place will call a latest information with the actual data. Okay, Same thing you have to do it for the range select. So let's go to the range select. Here let's define on range or on radius change. You have to pass the actual value, which is this e dot targeted value. Okay, and pass it back to the parent component like this. Okay, now save this one, and now let's go back to the page.js. Here you have to accept it. Okay. Similarly, like above, value is equal to set radius, and here you have to set the value. Okay, perfect. Now we have this category and radius value. Okay, and whenever this updated, this particular get Google Place method get call. Obviously, we have to pass this category comma radius. Okay, and get Google Place API. Here we have to accept it here, category comma radius. Okay, and pass this category instead of this one. So I will write like this, and for radius as well. Okay, perfect. Now save everything and let's test it out. Okay, so clean everything, and let me go here, go into the console, clean, and refresh the screen. Okay, so now if I click Indian, if you see, we got this 20 result. Okay, and if you go to the network tab, okay, we have this Google Place API call method, and in payload we got the Indian restaurant and default radius value. Okay, the latitude and longitude is again is a hard coded, we will change it later on. Okay, if I click Mexican, you'll get new API get call, and with the category as a Mexican restaurant, radius up to 500. If I change the radius, see, again new call get call, and with the radius 3000. Okay, so our API call is working, and also we are also getting this information, okay, every time with the new data which we are providing, right? If I open, you will see the Chandra Mexican Grill, right? Charandas or whatever. If I select Italian, right, you will get some Italian restaurants. Let's see, some pizza, see. Okay, so some pizzeria Italian restaurant like this. Okay, and depends on this radius as well. Now let's go back to our application, right, and just check. Let me, where it is in page.js, right here. Once we got this information, we store it in some state. So here we say constant business list comma set business list, okay, is equal to use state, and inside here we'll store it. Okay, so it's just write set business list, and here we will store this like this. Okay, perfect, and I will comment out this one for now. Now we send this category and radius. Okay, but we also need to send a latitude and longitude of the user's location. Okay, and right now we are not fetching any user location here, so obviously with the help of context we'll get the user's location. Okay, so just type location comma set user location is equal to use context. Okay, and in use context you have to provide user location context. Okay, this, now we have user location at user location dot latitude and user location dot longitude we have to pass. Now in get Google Place, obviously here as well we have to accept it here as a lat limestone. Okay, and I will replace this one plus latitude, and this one as a longitude. Okay, perfect, and save everything. Now we will test everything together. So now if I select Indian, okay, and if you see, this is my current location, oh sorry, the latitude and longitude. Okay, so if you see, right, some the okay, so we get the call but we are not consoling it. So let's go to the network tab, and inside here if you see with the current latitude and longitude. Okay, and if I go to the preview the response, right, in the results we'll get this. Okay, this is my current location. Okay, Mooresville, I'm living in Mooresville, so that's the reason the nearby Mexican restaurant is showing me. Okay, so all the Mexican restaurant, even though if I decrease this area, right, still it's showing me some of the businesses. Okay, Perfect. So that's what we wanted, and we also storing these businesses in our state. Okay, where it is. Okay, so this business list. Now this business list we will pass to our new business list component where we are going to display the businesses. Okay. Now this rating section you can do your own. Okay, this is challenge for you, and in middle if you face any issue, you can access my source code anytime. Okay, now let's implement the business list and let's display it on the screen. Okay, so we already have the list of business, we store it in one state, right, in page.js. And if you see here, we have this business list, correct? So what we will do in the home, in the component folder, inside the home folder, we will create a new file called business list.js. Okay, and add the default template business list like this. Okay, in page.js, after this Google Map view, okay, in second column we have to add this business list component. So add it like this. Okay, and save it. And if you see at the bottom, you will see the business list text is showing. Okay, now to this business list we will pass the business list. Okay, so pass it as a business list only. Okay, and in business list we will accept it as a prop. So business list. Okay, so it's small b. Now here we have the business list as well. Okay, now let's implement the or display this business list. Right, here we have to iterate the business list in order to display all the business list. So what we will do, inside this div I will iterate this business list dot map. Okay, in order to iterate it, item, and inside this we'll add one div. Okay, like this. Okay, or now you can implement or write your code here, or you can use another component to write the business item. So what I will do, in a home component I will create a new component called business item.js. Okay, and add the default template here, and this business item I will call it here. So just call business item. Okay, and pass this item. So I will pass it as a business is equal to item. Okay, perfect. And also I will add the index, and I will pass it as a key. Okay, index like this. Now inside the business item we will implement, or we will first accept it here as a business. Okay, now each business we need to show it on the screen. Okay, so let's implement that now. So first of all I will add the image from the next slash image. Oops, sorry, it to be this source. And then for now, okay, I will add the image from my local. Okay, the placeholder only. Then I will tell you how to fetch the image from the Google photo API. Okay, that I will do it later. So first of all I will add placeholder dot jpeg. Okay, so this is the image in my local, and we'll use alt as the name of the business. So name of the business is business dot name. Then width, I will give 180. Height we can give 80. Okay, and if I save everything, okay, let's save everything. If you see, we got this dummy image. Okay, now obviously we need to bring it in one line, right? So for this class name, make it, or so not here actually, but in order to put in horizontal, right, in a business list, for this one we'll make it flex. And if you see, it's showing flex, but it's showing too small, right? So what you have to do, first of all you have to say overflow scroll. Okay, and then you have to also say overflow x auto. Okay, like this. But still it's not working, right? Because we need to specify the width for this div. Okay, so what I will do right now, I will mention the width. So let's give class name width of 180 pixel. If I save it, let's see, it's not changing. So let's say flex shrink 0. So it, we are telling the this particular div, don't shrink it. And if you see, it's working perfectly fine. Okay, and if you see, it's scrolling inside. Okay, it's only this div is getting scroll. Okay, that's what we wanted. Now after this, let's add the business name. So I will add the to tag and business name. Okay, business dot name. And in same way, uh, I will add the other components. Okay, if I say the business name, so same way you can add the other all the components, and I will just copy paste it. Okay, so I already added this. um, just I have to replace this business name. Then I will add the address as well. I added some styling to this one, and then at the last we have a rating. Okay, what is this? Okay, so let's make sure everything is correct. So for this div we have to close this div, so like this, and save it. And if you see, if we are getting this name of the business and the address as well. Okay, and the rating. Okay, now for this div we have to apply some styling. Okay, so first of all, let's give padding of 2. Okay, and I will make rounded corner to be large. Okay, look like this. And also we make background to be white. Perfect. So I will make this corner of rounded corner to this image. So I will add the class name. I say rounded be large. Okay, and then it will look like this. Okay, and I think just make object to be cover here like this. Okay, and that's all. Now what we have to do, we have to put this on top of this image. Okay, and that is big task. So right now we can able to put, but we have to put it on top of this particular map. Okay, so now let's go back to the page.js. Okay, and wrap this business list in one div. Okay, like this. And for this div you can mark the position as absolute. Okay, once you mark it absolute, obviously nothing gonna change, but this is going to change, right? If you see, because you mark it as a absolute. Okay, so in order to uh, avoid this scrolling, right? Because we don't want to scroll complete page, right? So to avoid it, you can mention the width to be 90%. Okay, when the screen size is smaller, if you see, the screen size is smaller. And when the screen size is larger or medium or larger, we'll mention width of 71%. Okay, so that's I calculated. So if you see, like this, it will look like this. Okay, then also I will give some when the screen size is smaller, I will give margin left to 6. And when screen size is medium or larger, I will give margin left to maybe 10. Okay, let's see how it looks. Okay, look like this. But now it's not on the top, right? Obviously we have to give some bottom property. So in this case we can say bottom to be 3. And if it's go up to this point, right? So obviously this bottom will be applied to this one. And when the screen size is smaller, we can give bottom to be 36, like this. Okay, and obviously we have to we can mark this as a relative when the screen size is smaller, and when the screen size is medium or larger, we can mark it absolute. You see the change, right? If I increase the size, it will look like this. Okay, now we will give some gap between these all the items, right? So in order to give the gap, let's go to business list, and over here we can give the gap. Okay, and if you see, we got the gap as well. Okay, now if you have any question until this point, let me know in the comment section. Okay, now another thing, now we want to remove this scroll bar, right? We don't want to add this scroll bar. So for that one, you can just type Tailwind CSS hide scroll bar. Okay, and then you will find them some npm is this Tailwind CSS scroll bar hide, right? This dependency you have to install. Okay, so let's go back here. I will open our project side by side, and inside the new terminal, just paste this particular dependency. Okay, and once it install, It's very easy to use. If you scroll down, right, you just need to add this plugin first. So let's go to the Tailwind CSS config.js. Okay, and inside here, inside plugin, you have to add this require field. Okay, and if you scroll down more, just you have to write scroll bar hide. Okay, so obviously you change this, you have to rerun your project again because you change the config file. And inside the business list, you can add scroll bar hide here like this. Okay, and save it. Now rerun our project. So let's wait for to build this project so that we will get we will see the change on the UI. And if you scroll down, okay, let's select some food type. And if you scroll down, we don't have that particular scroller, right? Now you have to put you have to move that with the array, oh, sorry, the arrow button of the keyboard. Okay, but I hope you understand this one. Next, we will put some this button on the left and right hand side, so on the click you can move this particular slider. Okay, perfect. Now let's add the buttons so that we can click on it and this slider get moved. Okay, so on the right and left hand side we have to add the buttons. Okay, so let's go back to our application first. And sorry, so here, right, so on this one, right, go to the business list and add we will wrap this div first inside another div. So I will wrap it like this. Okay, and one button is come after this business list and another will come before this business list. Okay, so I already have the svg. Okay, so I will copy paste it here like this, and I will also add this on click slide right method. Okay, so this is simple method, and this is just icon, and I also applied some styling to this one. Okay, and same thing I am adding to the previous button, so I will add it here like this. Okay, and this slide left I am adding. Okay, now interesting part is for this div we have to provide the reference. Okay, so we just need to write reference is equal to element reference like this. Okay, it need to be is equal to, and this reference we have to mention it here. Okay, so constant element reference is equal to use ref. So this use ref hook will hold the reference of the current component. Okay, so initially it will be null. Okay, and there are two methods that we need to write. So first is constant slide right. Okay, and here we have to pass the element. Okay, which user means that on button click that element reference is sending, and for that element we are adding some properties like scroll. Here we have to write element dot scroll left. Okay, and here we can add whatever value you want to add. In this case I will add 500. Okay, okay, this need to be actually arrow function like this. Okay, and same thing we will add for the right. Okay, the left and the right. So this need to be actually both. We can put left, only thing that, sorry, this need to be minus and this need to be plus. Okay, and save it. Now let's test it out. So let's go back to our application. If you see, right, we got these two buttons here, and if I click on this, we got the scrolling. Okay, but this scrolling is not smooth, right? It is getting scroll but not smooth. So for that one, for this div, right, we have this scroll property to apply to this. Just write scroll smooth. Okay, and once you write scroll smooth, you can see the change. Okay, now depends on how much scroll do you want. On button click you can change the value from here. Okay, but this is how we can implement. Okay, I hope you understand this. Now, right now, if you see, right, we this for this image we added the placeholder. Right now let's add the actual business image. So let's go to business item, and over here, right, we need a couple of things. First need we need the API key. Okay, and the photo reference. So I just added this particular two lines. So this Google API key will hold the API key from the environment file, and this photo reference will hold the business photo reference. Okay, because business this particular result from the API will not returning the photo URL. Okay, for the business. So they just give the reference of the business, okay, the ID. So with that help of ID, we have to fetch or display this image, okay. So that is also very easy. You just need to uh, replace this particular source with this particular command, okay. So what is saying, this is the API endpoint for the photo, okay. If you see the map slash API slash photo, and for that one we are providing maximum width, the photo reference that which we are storing in this photo reference, this photo reference you have to provide along with the API key, okay. And now save everything and let's test it out, okay. So if you go back to our application and select for example Indian, so right now we got this error. It's saying the host name map.google API is not configured. Okay. So that we need to configure in next.config.js file. Okay. So here before we configure this particular domain, for this new domain, we have to configure like this, save it, and then stop the server and return it again. Okay. So this is very important whenever you are using the new URL, okay, to display the image, we have to make sure that this host name or domain name need to be configured or added in next.config.js, okay. Now I reloaded this screen and let's wait for a few seconds. Now let's click Indian and let's see what we are getting. So let's click Indian, see, it's coming up. If I click Mexican, see, Mexican is coming up, okay. But if you see, this image is, the height is getting changed, okay, up and down. So let's fix this issue. So for business, let's go to the business item. Here we can define the height as well, okay. So here what I will do, height to be 80 pixel like this, okay. And if you see now, height is all are 80 pixel and it's already object cover, okay. Now you can do some modification according to your need. It's up to you how you want, okay. You can give the, I will increase the width little bit to maybe 90 like this, and I think this is much better, okay. And see, I can able to scroll this one easily, or you can move it, okay. Now if I change to Indian, okay, it will change to Indian, see, Sri Balaji or biryani pot. If I want to change to Chinese, it will change to Chinese, see, okay. Perfect. Now here you can show the some type of loading or some type of skeleton effect. It's up to you, okay. This is challenge for you. You on the click of this, you have to load some loading effect, okay, so that you will get to know, okay, this result is getting loaded, okay. Perfect. So if you have any question until this point, let me know in the comment section. So here, quick thing. So if I change this one, right, if I change to Indian, and if you see this loading effects coming, right, immediately is going, but this loading effect coming up, right, that is nothing but a skeleton effect. So if you first search for this Tailwind CSS animation section, right, you will find this beautiful animation, okay. And this is nothing but a skeleton, but in Tailwind CSS is called as a pulse, okay. And you just need to define your div as animate pulse, okay, and it will be look like this particular beautiful skeleton effect, okay. And let me show you how I added. So I created a new component called skeleton loading, okay. And inside this component I structure means I write this div tag and everything like the our business listing item structure, okay. And inside the page.js where we are loading this or we are calling this get Google Place API, right. I define this loading state. Initially I will defining as a true, but when this particular Google Place is loading, we are showing it as a true. And once the we got the result, we'll set it as a false, okay. And below this one, we are just showing if the loading is not there, means loading is false, then we are showing business list. And if loading value is true, then we will showing the skeleton loading 5 times. That's the reason I provide this 1 2 3 4 5 array list. And obviously 5 times the skeleton loading will be iterate and display it on the screen, okay. And this is how it will show. If I change to Mexican, see, the 5 item is showing on the screen, okay. I hope you understand this one. And if you have any question, let me know in the comment section. And obviously you can access this source code anytime for free. Okay, so if you face any issue while implementing this particular skeleton effect, you can access my source code. Now in this section we are gonna show all this business on this particular map, okay, using the marker. So whatever the business we are getting from this particular category, okay, from the API, we are gonna show it on the map. Okay, now let's go back to our application, and in this particular uh, home folder, right, we are going to create a new folder called markers.js, okay, and add the default template like this. Okay, next, in page.js we have this Google Map view, right, which we already defined. Here we will send the list of businesses, okay, so by using the business list which we already have in the page.js, okay, and in Google Map view let's accept it here as a business list, okay, like this. Now obviously we have to show marker in between this Google Map tag like we define for the users, right. Here we will define for the business list. Obviously we have to iterate all the business list, okay, so I will do business list dot map item, and here we will call markers, okay. So we created markers, so this is the markers component, and we will call that one, okay, and in that markers we will add this marker. Okay, so if you go to this marker, inside this we will add this marker. Obviously we gonna change this position and the icon, obviously, okay, but in Google Map view, inside these markers, let's say this item nothing but a single business of, okay, so we'll say business is equal to item. Okay, so each business we are sending to the marker one by one. Okay, and I will also add this index over here. Okay, and add key is equal to index. Also I will just show first 7 elements. Okay, so I will do is equal to 7 and okay, so it means first 8 business will display it on the map. Okay, now once you go to the marker, here you have to accept it as a business because we send it business in from this particular component to this markers component. Okay, and if you see the field, right, this is our the response, and inside the result we have this geometry, and inside inside geometry we have location, and inside that we have latitude and longitude. Okay, so what we will do, obviously we have to do replace this position with a business location, like business dot geometry dot, and if you see after geometry we have the location. Okay, from there we will get the latitude and longitude. Okay, and here also I will change this URL to circle because circle is the uh, this particular circle one, okay, which we are showing as a marker, and obviously I will change this to 10 10. Okay, and save it. Now let's go back to our application. Okay, now nothing will show in on the screen because if you did not select any category, you are not able to select any um, business. Okay, but if you select this, for example, if I select Mexican, okay, okay, so if you see we got the error that marker if is not defined because we just copy paste but we forgot to import it, right. So make sure to import and now save it. Okay, now again let's select the sum of the any category. If I select it, as soon as I select, you will see the result along with this marker, see on the screen. Okay, so this is the actual position or location of this business. Okay, and if I scroll it, right now also I am showing only 8 business, and here also it's showing 8 business on the screen. Okay, yep, I can zoom it, and I can I need to I want to see this which location it is or information, right. But right now if you see we successfully able to add the marker on the Google Map. Okay, now next, obviously if you just click on any of this marker, okay, we want to show the information on the uh, about this one. Okay, immediately, and obviously if I select any of this one, obviously this also want to change. Okay, this marker also circle in the center, and then we will show the information about this marker. Okay, but until now this, if you have any question, any doubt, let me know in the comment section. Now we will show the business information for each of this marker. Right now we are just showing this marker, and right now we don't have any on click event or anything, right? So let's implement that one. So let me move here like this, or maybe okay. So here we already have this business. Okay, now in order to show the information for this marker, let's write in between this marker tag. Okay, so I will in between this marker we have to write the overlay view. Okay, so here we have to write overlay view. Okay, like this. And inside this overlay view we have to provide two important property. First we have to provide the position, right? What position do you want? Okay, so obviously the position is the business geometry location, like this. Okay, and one more important thing is map pan name. Okay, so we have to write map pan name, and which is the overlay view dot overlay mouse target. Okay, now whatever you display over here, it will display on the screen. For example, if I display the business name like this, right, and in between h2 tag and save it, let's go back to application, and if you see the name of business is showing, right? But we want to modify it. So what we can do, instead of this business name, right, we can write div, sorry, here we will write the div, and inside div we already have the business item, right? So let's add the business item here and pass the business. Okay, so here we have to pass the business. Okay, so if you see this business item has a business prop, and that we have to pass it. Okay, and if I save it, let's go back to application. See, it's showing on the screen. Okay, immediately. And if I zoom out, see everything. If I zoom in, it will show. Okay, but the position, I'm not expect this one. Okay, I want this particular um, details of the business above this particular marker. Okay, so let's do that. So it's quite easy. You have to just give the styling to this one. So we'll say margin left first to minus 90 pixel. Okay, and you can use the same coordinates. You can change little bit, depends on your requirement. And then margin top will be 200 pixel. Okay, so this particular margin I calculate from the business item. Okay, if you see, our business item has the width around 195. Okay, and above that I also took extra 5, and the height and width, okay, depends on that one. I give this margins. Okay, and if I save it and let's go back to application, if you see now, above each marker we have this location. Okay, if I zoom out, zoom in, see, above the marker now we have the information. Okay, that's what we wanted. But this is quite means a lot of business detail is showing on the screen. We don't want that one. Okay, on the click of the marker, then only we want to show this information. Okay, so in order to do that, we have to write on click method on this marker if. So write on click. Okay, and for this on click we have to set the value. Okay, so here we will set the value, for example console dot log, and here we will say okay, this is the business user click on. Okay, but in order to save the state, right, we are gonna use context for this one, because we want to know the selected business in other component as well, right? So let's create a new component. So in the context, sorry, so we have to create a context actually. Okay, so here we'll create a context called selected business context dot js. Okay, obviously I have write selected business context is equal to create context. Okay, and default is null, and make sure to export it so that we can use it. Okay, now in our layout.js, here you have to import it. Okay, and by default I will add selected business set selected business. Okay, this is default value we are going to pass, and we will add another provider. Okay, so selected business context dot provider, and then I will provide the value which we just defined, like selected business comma set selected business. Okay, and in the tag and wrap this for all of these particular components and save it. Okay, now we have selected business to all the components in our application. Okay, now let's go back to our markers, and here we have to accept that one. Okay, so means we have to get the selected business. So I will say selected business comma set selected business is equal to use context, and here we will say selected business context. Okay, so here we are defining because we want to set the business selected business. Okay, and from these markers we are from this on click on the marker we are going to set the business. Okay, so let's say set selected business, and we have to pass the business information. Okay, interesting, correct? Now if I select any of this particular food type, if I click on it, right now obviously it's not affecting anything because we did not apply any logic, but we are going to storing this business information in this particular selected business. Okay, now what we have to check, we have this selected business information, right? Here we're gonna check so unique property. If you go here, right, and we can check with the name of the business, or we have this reference. Okay, so if you check the reference with the current reference, we can do that. Okay, so let's take this reference as a key because that will be a unique. Okay, so here we can write the condition selected business. Okay, dot reference is equal to business dot reference. Okay, if this condition is valid, then only show the overlay. Okay, otherwise don't show it. Okay, as simple as that. And let's bring this down and let's save it. Okay, so initially you will not see anything. Okay, but because this is we are showing because we click on it. Okay, but refresh it and let's check newly. Okay, so let's select any of this restaurant. Let's see Mexican. Okay, and right now see nothing is selected. Okay, if I click on this one, only this information is showing. See, if I click on this one, only these are showing. See, okay, so it's up to you which you want to see. Okay, and this is how you can see it. Okay, now one more thing, we showed this everything, right? But on the click of this one as well, we want to show it on the map. Okay, interesting, correct? So if I click on this one, I want to show this on the map as well. Okay, so in order to do that, right, obviously we have to use this all the context similar context because we are going to set the value from the business list. Okay, so copy this one, go to the business list, and I will paste it here. Okay, make sure to import the use context as well as selected business context. And on the click of business list, we are going to set. So what I will do, I will wrap this in one div. Okay, like this. Put this key onto this one. So you can put on click here as well. It's up to you. Okay, and on click. Okay, we are gonna set business. Set selected business, and I will pass the item which contains our business. So it contains only single element, right? And let's save it, and let's go back to application. Let me refresh everything. Let's select anything like Italian. Okay, now if I select this one, see this information. If I select this pizzeria, see pizzeria showing. Okay, so this is how it's work. Okay, and this one is also working for us, means if I click any of this one, see the result is coming. Okay, now one more thing you can do, whenever you just select it, right, you can center it, this particular map. Okay, it's up to you how you want to center, and let's apply your knowledge because in Google Map view we center with the user's location. See, okay, now whenever the business is selected, you can replace this user location with your business location, and automatically the map will get centered. Okay, let's try it, let's give a try. And if you have faced any challenge, let me know in the comment section, or you can use my source code. So now we will show the distance and the button over here. Okay, so we will show we will display how far it is from your location. Okay, so it will be in the miles or kilometer, it's up to you how you want to display, and the button, so that once you click on that button it will open the actual Google Map with the navigations. Okay, so let's implement that one. So first of all, in the marker, right, here we have the business item, and inside the business item we are going to implement. Okay, so let's define one div here, and inside this div we'll define h2 tag. Okay, and we will say, for example, for mile. Okay, we will replace this particular value with the actual distance. Okay, but right now we will just implementing the UI. And also in span I will add get direction. Now, let's save it and let's see how it looks. If you see, the 4 mile and get direction is getting on the screen. Okay, but if you see, for this business also it's displaying, because we are using the same component, right? So in order to just display on this one and not on this particular item, what we can do, go to the marker, and here we will pass show direction as a value. Okay, and we can pass it as a true. Okay, from this markers business item, and here we have to accept it here as a market business show directory. Okay, and default you can give false. Okay, so it's optional obviously, because we give this value to this show directory. Okay, and now you can just write condition if show directory direction it means is true, then show this div, otherwise don't show it. Okay, and if you see now, it's not showing on this business item but it's showing on this one, right? Even though the business the component is similar, but with this condition it's not showing on this one. Okay, and that's what we wanted. Now let's add some styling to this one. So for this h2 I will add class name text. Okay, and here we have some value, right? But you can give the custom value as well. Okay, but if you see, we type blue and you will get the value, but in order to give the custom value, right, you have to type hex like this. Oh, sorry, the hex value. And if I save it, and if you see the change. Okay, perfect. Now let's add some more value. Say let's flex, then I will say justify between. Okay, and that's all. And I will also make item to be in the center, so it's vertical and horizontal will be center like this. Okay, to this div, what I will do, I will add the border at the top of 1 pixel. Okay, and I will give padding of 1, margin top to 1 as well. Okay, and save it. And if you see, right now it's showing like this, right? So let's make sure everything is correct. So border need to be like this, and then we'll see the border. Okay, then what I will do, I want the button like structure to this get direction. Okay, so to this span you can apply some styling. Class name, you can order border of 1 pixel, then and add the padding to 1. Okay, and if you save, it will look like this. Okay, so it's not really looks good because we added too much border width. Okay, now we can make it rounded corner, so just write rounded be full. Okay, and then I will change border color, so it will be blue 500. Okay, and save it, and see, it's showing perfectly fine. Okay, now on hover I want to change this color and combination. Okay, so what I will do, on hover I will change text to white. Okay, again on hover will change the background. Okay, so you can write background blue 500. Okay? And if you see, if I hover on it, it's changing the background. Okay, and here you can write the distance, so I want to show distance like this. Okay, perfect. Now obviously if I click on this one, we are getting distance. Okay, now what we will do, we will implement the logic to get the direction between the user, means your current location, and this business location. Okay, so we'll do that now. So now On the click of this get direction button, we want to open the map. Okay, and I already have the function written, so what I will do, I will just copy paste it here. Okay, like this. So this is the on direction click method, and here is just I'm opening the new window with this particular URL. Okay, and for this URL I'm passing the origin. Okay, and the destination. Okay, here obviously we need to bring constant the user location, right? So just add user location comma set user location is equal to use context, because we have in context user location context. Okay, and from that one we'll get the user's location. Okay, so it will be latitude and longitude. Okay, and save it. Now just call this method on this particular get direction button. Okay, so what I will do, I will add on click method to this one, and let's call it here like this. Okay, on direction click and save it. Let's test it out. So let's open click any of this food type. So if you see it's saying the object not iterable, the reason is, right, this is very important error if you see, because many times this error will come and you will not find any issue, or you don't get it how to resolve it, right? So whenever you use the context, instead of this bracket you have to use this curly brackets. Okay, so don't use the square bracket. And now uh, we are here, click Mexican, for example, anything, right? If I click on this one, you got this beautiful pop-up, and if I click on get direction, right? Okay, so we got this error. Let's see what's the error. Okay, so it's saying selected business is not defined. Okay, obviously we have business, not the selected business, so replace this with the business. Okay, and now save it and let's test it now. So if I click on it now, if you see, it's open a new window and it's also showing the distance. Okay, you just need to click get started. It's showing how much minute is required and everything, because it's actually we are using Google Map. Okay, so this is how we can implement this get direction and open the new map. Okay, now let's implement the distance. So for distance we have a big logic actually, so I will just copy paste it here for us. Okay, you can get it anywhere from the internet as well, or you can use my source code. Okay, so it's simple. It's calculating the distance, and for that one we have to provide latitude and longitude of the source and destination. Okay, and obviously we have the user location, so set user location, sorry, in the use effect, right, we will call this method, because whenever we have this business item we will call it. Okay, so in use effect, here we'll pass empty for now, and here we have to calculate the distance, so just call this calculate distance. Okay, and inside this one we have to provide some value. First thing is business latitude and longitude, or user latitude longitude. Okay, I will write business dot geometry dot location dot latitude. Okay, and same thing I will copy, I will change it to longitude, lng. Okay, next users location dot latitude and user location dot longitude. Okay, like this, and save it. Now once we get this user location latitude and longitude, we have to save in one state. So I already showed, but here we can define it here like this: distance comma set distance is equal to use state. Okay, this, and what you have to do, set the distance, we already set it here like this. Okay, perfect. Now let's replace this hard coded 4 mile with this actual distance, so we'll set distance and save it. Okay, let's test it whether it's working or not. So let's select any of this one, and if I click, if you see 2.8 mile is showing. If I select this one, it's showing 2.5. This is far, so it's showing 3.2. Okay, if I select this nearby, I don't have any nearby, but see 2.4 mile. If I select Indian, right, I only have one nearby Indian. Okay, if I select masala masti, is little far and it's 8.7 mile. Okay, say biryani pot is 25 mile. Okay, so this is how it works, right? I hope you understand this one. So how to calculate distance, how to show it on the screen and everything. Okay, And obviously if you face any issue, because I copy pasted this calculation thing and I already implemented it, okay, so you can access this through my source code. Is completely free. And guys, if you did not subscribe to my channel, please do subscribe. And even you can join my channel as well, right? It's nominal fee, start from two $99, and you will get a lot of things, okay, the member only videos and everything. So please do join the video and help us to grow this channel. I made some couple of updates in our application. For example, for this header, I added this shadow effect. Also, on the click of this profile image, I added this logout option. Once user click on this logout button, user will get logout from the application. Okay, and you can also go ahead add some new features. So whatever you want, okay. And anytime if you have any doubt or you are facing some challenges, you can access my source code for free. And if you are new on my channel, please guys do subscribe to my channel. And if you are really looking for exclusive video, one-to-one session, then please join the channel, okay. And if you go to my channel here, you will see a lot of different types of project or different courses on Next.js, React Native, Tailwind CSS. Go ahead and watch all of them. So guys, before doing any further delay, let's begin.